I can honestly say it's a pleasure. In fact, I'd go as far as to say it's fun. We really share the same fascination with technology as FirstNet, and that's been the most important bit of the relationship. We can talk for hours about where the business is going and where technology is going with that. As well as really enjoying working with them, it's their professionalism which we've seen as a big change working with them. They've really mastered this idea of big business processes and systems and structure and bringing that to SMEs, something that we're very much about in our business. That they talk a lot about the ITIL framework, but we actually see the ITIL framework in the work that they do with us, right through from the relationship management, the constant contact with us to make sure that we're getting what we need, through to the roadmap that they've developed with us to make sure that the technology that they're working on is in line with our business plan, and even the help desk, which is really refreshing in terms of the response times and the resolution of the issues which far outstrip the SLAs which we have with them. I can honestly say it's a pleasure. We have a lot of fun with the guys at FirstNet, every single member of the team. I think what you really see is you see they share the same fascination as we have with technology. You can see it in their eyes. We can talk for hours about where technology is going, where our business is going and their business is going. It isn't just that we enjoy working with them, it's very much about the professionalism that they bring to the relationship. They've really mastered this idea of bringing big business systems and processes and giving them to SMEs, which is unique as far as I've seen. We benefit from the ITIL process that they talk about, and they don't just talk about it, we actually see it every day working with them, right from the roadmap that they've developed with us, which really takes the technology that they're working on and applies it to our business plan and our development, through to the relationship management, which is just constantly trying to understand where we're at and whether they're delivering against what they've said they will, right through to the help desk, which is just refreshing in terms of the responsiveness and the problem resolution, which is really just way above the SLAs which they've set with us. It's really interesting actually, working with FirstNet has totally changed our relationship with technology. For years and years we've been investing heavily, but it's always been from a base of trying to solve problems. The real change has now come that because FirstNet have resolved all of the issues that we had with our infrastructure, we're now on to the bits that we wanted to talk about, which is the strategy, where we're going with the business. And they're really embedded in that. Across our 3 strategic projects, which is the really unusual bit. So our 3 strategic projects are what we call our service design, our academy and our technology. And from a service design perspective, we're constantly trying to improve the customer journey. In terms of the academy, that's very much about giving all of our team and our clients the knowledge, the skills and the behaviour that they need to give good service. Now, FirstNet are actually involved in all 3, including the technology. So they have got involved in our service design, very much from a business, what I would call business process management. So not just looking at the technology, but actually looking at what is good process. They are very much technology agnostic like we are. We just want to understand what good process is before we decide the technology that we're going to use. So they've been in, we have 52 services here, which is a complicated business to run, but they've helped us understand that and break it down into the various steps so we can look at each step and improve each step on an individual basis. In terms of the academy, they're involved in training all of our team on the obvious stuff, things like Office and Excel, Word, PowerPoint, but also things that you might not expect. So they really emphasise the need for good security practice. They're training our staff on project management, the business process management that we were talking about earlier. And obviously they're heavily involved in the technology side of things. So having given us a really sound platform, a really good foundation in terms of the server environment that we have, We're now developing the things that we always wanted to develop, which is things like Office 365, and starting to get our online document management system really all aimed at achieving what we call Martini, if you remember the adverts. So our technology and everything that we need to work should be available anytime, any place, anywhere, which is exactly what we are trying to give our clients. It's really interesting, actually. I'd say that working with FirstNet has changed our entire relationship with technology. So we've invested heavily in technology over the years, but we've never managed to get away from dealing with the problems of what is a fairly complicated infrastructure. So FirstNet have come in, they've understood it, really dived into the history of it, and given us an infrastructure now that is just so stable that we don't talk about it anymore. So that allows us to have the relationship which we have always cried out for, is that relationship where they are far more involved in our strategy and what we call our roadmap. So they are embedded in all three of our three strategic projects. So they are heavily involved in our service design, which is us constantly looking at the services we provide and how we provide them to make sure that the customer journey is as good as it could be. They are involved in our academy, which is all of the huge amount of training that we're investing in terms of the knowledge, the skills, the behaviour that our team need to be able to give great service. And obviously heavily involved in the technology that support both of those key projects. In terms of the service design, they've been involved in what I would call business process management. So they've come in. We have 52 services here, very complex business, very technical. But they've helped us map those, break them down, and understand each stage really as a flow of information. And they've done that from a perspective that I would call technology agnostic. So very much like us, they want good practice and then to match the technology against that good practice. In terms of the academy, as well as providing the obvious training, things like Microsoft Outlook, Excel, Word, all the stuff that we use every day, we're also feeding off their skills. So they're training us on security, much better data management, training us on things like project management, which they use obviously as part of their everyday, and what I referred to earlier, business process management. Because the work that we do with our clients is very much a process, it's very much a flow of information. Obviously they're involved in our technology, and having given us the really stable foundation that we have, we're now being able to develop what we always wanted, which is what we call our Martini system. I don't know if you remember the old adverts. We want our tools and information to be available anytime, any place, anywhere. And it's only now working with FirstNet and the work they've done on Office 365, the work they're doing with our document management, and also the work that they're doing on our remote desktop that's really giving us that opportunity because we're really passionate about flexible working here. So our team being able to work on client sites, at home if they choose to, or in the office, moving around the different meeting rooms, all of that is really fundamentally changing the way that we work. We've seen measurable benefits from working with FirstNet, even on a very basic level of no longer spending so much time talking about the problems with the system. Because the system just works, our time with FirstNet, our time with IT generally is now very positive, very productive. We're actually talking about developments, and really we see the progress on a monthly basis because we have this roadmap, a very clear view of what we're going to do every month, where we're going to get to in the next 12 months. The regular meetings that we have with FirstNet are very much about progress against that roadmap, so we can see it tangibly. This month we've cracked our document management system, which we've been talking about for years even. I think we're really starting to see the efficiency gains of our team having much better access to information. not just at the touch of a button, but at the touch of a button from anywhere. So it's precisely that access to information that FirstNet have given us, really. That's precisely what we want for our clients. We've seen real benefits from working with FirstNet, even from a very basic level of changing our conversation. We're not spending the hours that we were spending talking about the problems that we had with the system, despite all of the investment that we'd put into it. Really working with FirstNet, because they've understood that and stabilised that and given us this solid foundation, we no longer talk about problems. All of our conversation now is about the development of the system. So we, with this roadmap that we've created with them, we know on a monthly basis where we're going to get to at the end of each month. So our conversation is just about progress, just about where we've got to each month, and that's just so valuable to us. Our team are seeing on a daily basis the improvement of having information far more accessible, both in terms of their own flexible working, but in terms of their efficiency. Even the way we structure meetings now is far more digitally based, and that's coming through. That's coming through in the results and the time that we take over things. And that idea of having information at our fingertips is really precisely what we're after for our clients.